Happy Saturday. Let's talk today about the nominal versus the real GDP. What is the GDP? The gross domestic product, the total market value of the goods and services produced by a country's economy during a specific period of time. As you can see, the GDP is very important because it's going to tell us how well is a country doing. So let's see the difference between a nominal and a real GDP.
Prices of all finished goods and services. So that means that there are two ways that GDP can increase. First, prices can increase. In this case, the GDP number goes up, but the economy isn't actually producing more goods and services. It's inflation, which is driving the higher GDP.
Seen things increase in price in the last year, and basically if milk was $2 last year, this year is $6, to put an example. That doesn't mean that our GDP was increasing because we're creating more services and finished product. It's just basically a mirage done by inflation. Look at the difference between the nominal GDP in 1950, which is 320 billion, compared to 2015, which is 17 trillion. Does that mean the economy increased from 1950 to 2015 55 times?
Is if we do produce more valuable goods and services. And that could mean simply more goods and services, or better goods and services, more highly valued goods and services. It's the second type of increase in GDP that we want. This isn't a mirage. This is a real increase in GDP. It controls for inflation by adding up all the goods and services produced in an economy using the same set of prices over time, the same set of prices. Real GDP tells us if the prices of goods and services hadn't changed, how much would GDP have increased or decreased?
Look, this is real GDP. 1950 shows 2.2 trillion. And this is basically using 2009 prices. And then look all the way up to 16 trillion. That means that the economy actually grew 8 times, not 55 times. Finally, what happens from 1950 with the population from 1950 to today? Well, population, has increased. So this is the reason why we do the real GDP per capita. The real GDP per capita is going to tell us if we have higher living standards. Notice in 1950, we have $14,000 per person. But in 2015, it's actually higher, $50,000 per person. That means that we're 4 times better in living standards